from all over the world and would like to begin with a video message which will be coming from the Director General of UNESCO, Khalid El Hanani. Shall we do a big round of applause? Okay, let's go.
Excellency. Dear students and researchers, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by sincerely thanking the government of Ghana for hosting this closing ceremony of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, and the government of Mexico for its leadership on this initiative. 1 year ago, this year was launched with clear goals to raise awareness of quantum science and to ensure its applications contribute meaningfully to the Sustainable Development Goals. The response has been extraordinary. Over 145 events took place across all regions, bringing together scientists, students, educators, and innovators. This global enthusiasm demonstrates that the appetite for quantum science is universal. Access to it, however, is not. Our global survey revealed deep inequalities. Many institutions still lack quantum facilities. More than 150 countries have no national quantum strategy. As quantum research accelerates, the growing quantum divide can no longer be ignored. Yet, inequality is not inevitable. This conviction has guided UNESCO's action throughout the year. We launched online training for African women scientists, expanded remote access to quantum computers, and listened closely to the communities to better understand their needs. The message was clear. The greatest challenge is not a lack of talent or ambition, but a lack of access, mentorship, and opportunity. This is also why today, UNESCO is launching the Global Quantum Initiative with a focus on 5 priorities: education, infrastructure, awareness, diplomacy, and ethics. We need all partners, governments, industry, academia, civil society on board and working together. Our priority is clear: to support the countries with the greatest needs and the greatest potential: Africa, small island developing states, and the crisis-affected regions. This is what UNESCO for the People means. Thank you.
We're grateful to the Director General of UNESCO. Shall we do one more big round of applause and appreciation? Ladies and gentlemen of distinguished measure, as I mentioned earlier, this is a distinguished public servant who has devoted himself to service from various levels of community development through to national development. For a minimum of 20 years, he has served diligently the people of the Tamale South constituency of the northern region of Ghana. It is by no accident that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, entrusted the educational sector, which is very, very key within the development agenda of our nation, into his hands to oversee. This morning, he comes here with a message of warmth, a message of direction, and a message of a renewed strength as we all look forward into the future, having quantum science at the helm of our development and our education. Shall we welcome the Honorable Minister for Education of Ghana, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Excellencies, Deputy DG UNESCO, I should add Lydia Africa, in order that you are clearly distinguished from our Chief Director, Lydia Esua. Excellency Mukala, representing UNESCO Ghana. Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment and other heads of institutions from the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, colleague heads of agencies and institutions, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was wondering why I should be the first person making the remarks, because I wanted to have opportunity to also learn more about quantum science and to learn from other experiences abroad. But I was reminded that my task this morning is a very simple one, is to welcome you all to Accra and to Ghana for the 1-year closing event of the significant milestone of the closing ceremony of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. So to Nathaniel, let me thank you for those warm introductory words. I see you very well dressed in the Ghanaian fugu, this time with this accompanying compliments of a cap. Maybe I hope you are not reigniting the debate between Ghana and Zambia as to what constitutes a blouse and what is a traditional cultural wear of a smock. Maybe minded by the development in Zambia when Excellency John Dramani Mahama was in that country on a state visit. He got one of his best honors I have ever witnessed in my life as a visiting president to another republic. Maybe that reminds us, and probably I should get the Director General of the GES to declare that on any day declared our day, every Ghanaian learner must go in a culturally fitting dress for them to observe our day nationwide, so that each culture, each society will reflect its values and culture as we observe it. This gathering in Accra brings together, as I understand, leaders in science, policy, and education at an important moment for the international community. Your presence here affirms our shared understanding that knowledge, science, and innovation remain central to human progress. The proclamation of 2025 as the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology by UNESCO signaled the growing importance of quantum science in the modern world. Over the past year, attention has focused not only on discovery, but on the responsibility that accompanies scientific development of our country. We still note that there are major gaps as we observe, and there are about 145 countries that are still without quantum strategies. Quantum tools are also supporting agriculture and food systems through improved sensing for soil and water monitoring and more accurate climate forecasting. For countries where agriculture sustains livelihoods such as Ghana and food security, quantum science remains significant and paramount. Hosting this closing ceremony in Ghana reflects recognition that global scientific dialogue benefits diverse perspectives. Africa's talent and intellectual contribution are part of the future of frontier science. Ghana's engagement with the International Scientific Initiative has a foundation. The experience of the International Year of Light and light-based technologies demonstrated how global observance can translate into national capacity and lasting impact. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, undoubtedly, education remains the strongest foundation for scientific advancement. Investment in teachers, researchers, and young learners will determine how important quantum science and its application would be useful in Africa and the rest of the world. I have the singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to Accra and to wish us all a very purposeful and fruitful deliberation. As the International Year concludes, this moment marks transition rather than closure. The task ahead is to deepen partnership, expand learning opportunities, and encourage responsible innovation. Quantum science will continue to evolve, and access to its benefits must evolve with it. Probably instead of discussing literacy and numeracy, maybe we should be talking more about science literacy. And maybe we should accept that there is now a gap between those who have access to quantum gap and those who do not. How do we work to close the gap? The choice of Accra as host city for the global closing is appreciated, and I want to express my appreciation to the Director General of UNESCO, Deputy DG responsible for Africa, for making Accra, Ghana, the proud host. I look forward to more fruitful deliberation. I understand that access to science is on the recline, and even the number of engineers globally is also declining. I'm sure it reminds us to wake up and invest more in science education, in particular quantum science. I see Kwenu, one of Ghana's lead persons. I'm sure when we're transiting those days to Y2K, he was relevant with his application of science. I recognize you. May God bless us all, and I thank you for the opportunity for Ghana to host this international event. I look forward to our shared experiences and trust that we will all work collectively to close the gap. I thank you all.
Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Minister of Education of Ghana, and our guest of honor, we're very grateful to you for opening this very crucial conference within the bigger development of science and technology in the world. Shall we appreciate him with another big round of applause? Honorable Minister, Excellencies here gathered, representatives of various agencies, we will now take a message from the representative of the UNFPA as we look forward to starting off deliberations later this morning. Shall we, with a big round of applause, welcome the representative of the UNFPA to the stage.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, the UNESCO Assistant Secretary General for Natural Sciences, Dr. Lydia Vito, the Chief Director for the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Secretary General of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, representatives of the American Physical Society, distinguished scientists and researchers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Wilfred Ochan, and I am the UNFPA country representative in Ghana. I'm here speaking as the UN resident coordinator ad interim in the name of Zia Chaudhry, who is currently out of the country. On my own behalf, on behalf of the UN country team in Ghana, it is my great pleasure to join today as we mark the closing ceremony of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. The United Nations General Assembly declared in 2025 as the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. As you are aware, the year was launched 1 year ago in Paris under the leadership of UNESCO with the aim of strengthening international collaboration, building scientific capacity in the global south, advancing gender equality in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and addressing the growing quantum divide It also coincided with the 100th anniversary of quantum science, offering a moment to reflect on both past achievements and future possibilities. Hosting the closing ceremony here in Ghana is deeply symbolic. It reflects the growing capacity of the Global South in quantum science and technology and highlights Africa's potential to contribute meaningfully to this frontier field. In the lead up to this event, Ghana has demonstrated this potential through concrete actions. We have seen the inauguration of the Quantum Computing and Assistive Technologies Laboratory at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. You've seen creating new opportunities, technology, creating new opportunities for research, innovation, and skills development. We've also witnessed the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Ghana, a UNESCO Category 2 Center of Excellence, hosts its inaugural quantum computing hackathon, engaging young scientists and innovators in this rapidly evolving field. These initiatives reflect the spirit of the International Year, connecting science with education, science with innovation, and science with development. As we look ahead, the United Nations, through its specialized agencies, programs, and funds, will continue to champion quantum science and technology within the framework of the International Decade of Science for Sustainable Development. We encourage deeper science diplomacy among member states, academic institutions, and industry partners to advance the basic sciences while ensuring that application is guided by ethics, inclusion, and responsibility. As we close this International Year, let us view it not as an ending, but as a foundation for sustained investment in science capacity across developing economies. In closing, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the government of Ghana, UNESCO, and the American Physical Society, as well as other partners who have contributed to the success of this International Year. I thank you very much and wish you good deliberations.
We're very grateful have added to the introductory perspectives to the conversations that we'll be having later today. We're very grateful to you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we appreciate him with another round of applause? And of course, this morning, Honorable Minister, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, helping me here on the stage as my co will be Sarah Osei, who is with SDEV Foundation. And of course, this morning, we're all looking forward to impactful conversations that will shape our thinking and shape the resolve, especially from this part of the world, to how we place quantum science within the bigger framework of our development.
Thank you, Nathaniel, and good morning to you all. It's a privilege to have you here in Accra. And reflecting this day, one name just keeps popping in my mind, how he would have been so proud and so happy to experience his dream come true in Accra. And this is the late Professor Francis Allotte. He would have been proud to be with you. And we appreciate the world. We appreciate UNESCO. We appreciate everybody for bringing this closing ceremony to Accra. Thank you.
Amazing. Of course, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've got some more in terms of introductory remarks and conversations ahead of our
Diakon.
Minister for Education, Excellencies, Assistant Director of UNESCO, Honorable Ministers and Heads of Delegation present here, leaders of international scientific unions and academics, members of diplomatic and scientific community present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Good morning. I bring you compliments from the Acting Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, who would have loved to be with us, but due to equally important national assignment, he's unable to be with us as he's outside the jurisdiction. I'm therefore representing and presenting a statement on his behalf. I now read. The Minister of Environment, Science and Technology conveys warm greetings to all assembled to this group of science and technology. The International Year has provided a timely opportunity to reflect on the evolving role of science and technology in contemporary society. It has reaffirmed the importance of scientific knowledge as a foundation for cooperation, innovation, and sustainable development across regions and disciplines. Ghana is honored to have contributed to the collective international effort that led to the national quantum science and technology. Through its engagement with UNESCO and the wider multilateral system, Ghana supported the call for greater global attention to quantum science as an enabling field with far-reaching implications for development, education, and technological transformation, particularly for developing countries. Quantum science remains among the most dynamic areas of research. Its advancement demonstrates how fundamental inquiry inform development in this field are influencing computer communication, material science, precision measurement, while raising important questions related to ethics, equity, and access. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for science and technology ministries, this development underscores the importance of responsive research systems and sustained investment in scientific capacity. Meaningful participation in frontier science depends on strong institutions, skilled researchers, and international collaborations, as well as deliberate efforts to bridge scientific divides between and within countries. Effective science ecosystems are supported by a coherent policy environment, appropriate regulatory frameworks, and constructive linkages between research institutions and industry. These elements help ensure that innovation grows responsibly and contribute to societal well-being. Ghana's engagement in international scientific cooperation is reflected in its participation in multilateral research partnerships, regional scientific networks, and global knowledge platforms. During the International Year, Ghana has promoted dialogue on capacity development, science education, and the inclusion of developing countries in emerging scientific domains, consistent with UNESCO's vision of science as a global public good. Ladies and gentlemen, the convening of this global closing ceremony in Accra affirms the value of inclusive global scientific dialogue and broad participation in frontier science. It also reflects confidence in Africa's growing role in shaping the future of science, technology, and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology continues to prioritize research strengthening, innovation support, and policy framework that enables responsible technology adoption. Attention to ethical development and alignment with international norms remain integral to this effort, including emerging areas such as quantum technology. UNESCO's leadership in advancing science, ladies and gentlemen, as a global public good and in facilitating cooperation among states, highly valued. This leadership has been instrumental in mobilizing consensus around the International Year and in ensuring that its legacy extends beyond commemorations to sustain action. As the International Year concludes, attention now turns to sustaining cooperation through research collaboration, knowledge exchange, education, and capacity development. These efforts will be essential in ensuring that the benefits of quantum science are shared equitably and contribute to peaceful and sustainable development. Ghana remains committed to working with UNESCO, member states, and the international scientific community to advance science and technology in a manner that supports innovation, responsible governance, and shared progress. In conclusion, this ceremony stands as a powerful demonstration of solidarity among member states and the global scientific community. It reaffirms our shared commitment to advancing science in support of peace, inclusion, and sustainable development. I thank you for the presentation, and I wish this ceremony a fruitful deliberation. May I take the permission to indicate that I am Suebatu Adam. Madam Cynthia is no more with us, and I am the Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. Thank you very much.
We're grateful to Madam Suebatu Adam, who is the Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. And now, Honorable Minister, Excellencies here gathered, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Earlier, as Sarah mentioned, the legendary Professor Alote, whose work and footprints within this industry remain there and remain visible for the rest of time. This morning, would like to honor his memory and that of our departed former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Shall we rise at this time as we observe a moment's silence in honor of the memory of the legendary Professor Alote and the Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. May the souls of Professor Alote and Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed rest in peace and rise in glory through the mercy of the good Lord. Amen. Please do resume your seats.
Before we take our seats, a little about Alhaji. Please sit. Alhaji Dr. Murtala Mohammed. On the 5th of August, we were privileged at SDF Foundation in Ghana to host one of the global events in education. So Honorable Dr. Murtala was with us. It was so colorful. Those who were at the event, he spoke so passionately about science and technology and the fact that the ministry has just inaugurated the research fund and therefore they were contributing to it. Little did we note that the next day we wouldn't see him again. So we are grateful for Honorable Murtala for the knowledge shared, his passion, and his zeal for science and technology. Thank you.
The next person.
And next to give us a message is John Doe. Yes, sir, please.
nice to be here. Here we go. Great. I'm the past president of the American Physical Society, and you may be wondering what that is. It is that we have a position after you're president, which I was last year during the International Year of Quantum, and you continue to do the work of the American Physical Society as past president. I'm going to start today with a quote. I have to say it's slightly different for the historians out there. You might hear it a little bit different at different times, but this is the one one that seems to be the most official. And across the parapet, I see the mother of African unity and independence, her body smeared with the blood of her sons and daughters in their struggle to set her free from the shackles of imperialism. And I could see and hear springing of cities of Africa, becoming the metropolis of science, learning, scientific agriculture, and philosophy. And I hear the mortals resound the echo and the rejoinder. Seek ye first the political kingdom, and all the rest shall be added unto it. These are the words of Kwame Nkrumah, first Prime Minister and President of Ghana. This great oration, merely 100 words, sum the past and desired future for an eventual vision for Ghana as a stable democracy. In this famous speech segment, science is used twice, indicating visionary leadership that saw the relationship between science and empowerment of the people, between truth and social justice, between freedom of thought and the betterment of society. It is with this spirit that I stand before you today. When I was elected to the presidential line of the American Physical Society, I was hopeful that the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology would be the defining feature of my APS presidency. At the time, I understood that declaring an international year through the United Nations would be ambitious. What I did not fully appreciate was how much diplomacy, coordination, and persistence it would require to transform the ambition into a shared global commitment. Now standing here at the close of this remarkable year, I understand it very clearly. And that understanding begins with gratitude. We would not be here today, not in Ghana, not anywhere, without Ghana's leadership. Ghana's decision to serve as the lead nation on the UN resolution did more than launch a series of events. It affirmed that quantum science and technology belong within the shared global agenda for education, innovation, and sustainable development. Because of Ghana's leadership, the world experienced something extraordinary, a truly global celebration of curiosity, discovery, education, and possibility. It was a platform to educate people about the role of modern science and how it plays a pivotal segment of a very lively ecosystem in creating wealth and security, and the role that its citizens play in the scientific enterprise. Please join me in thanking Ghana, its Ministry of Education, and Ghana's IYQ Planning Committee, including Professor George Oduro, who served as chair. From the outset, the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology reflected the values that sit at the heart of the United Nations and of UNESCO in particular. International cooperation, knowledge, sharing, education, and the belief that science is for the public good. Quantum science can easily be misunderstood as distant, abstract, or reserved for a small number of experts. It is not. IYQ challenged that perception. It invited the world to see quantum science not only as a frontier of research, but as a field with real implications for society. When IOIQ was first taking shape more than 3 years ago, I was quite excited. Quantum science is my research area, and the pace of discovery continued its acceleration. Absolutely remarkable situation. There was growing international attention to the promise of ongoing revolutions in single quantum state control, controlled complex quantum systems, and sensors. Curiosity-driven research was driving new ideas, new demonstrations, and new knowledge. And in an unprecedented turn, the pathway from basic research to products produced by companies became shorter than ever, at least in the field of physics. All the while, new discoveries continued at a breathtaking pace. Everything seemed aligned, and it did indeed remain aligned, but the context shifted. The past year has reminded us that we should not take the lessons learned from past generations for granted. We must renew our hard-won understanding of the turbulence of history. For us all, we must recognize that scientific progress is lessened when done in isolation in one country. The vibrancy of the scientific enterprise depends on societal stability, on international mobility, on agreement between nations, and perhaps most crucially, on open research and sustained investment in education. Each of these conditions requires nurturing. They require informed cooperation, and they require the long-term commitment that leads to breakthroughs in fundamental understanding of the physical universe, which then leads to technology that helps all the people on the planet. IOIQ was remarkable. With ebbs and flows and vortices of rhetoric, these vortices are the things that move around in a way that's maybe not totally predictable. The rhetoric from governments and real barriers erected, the scientists, policymakers, and those who care about the future of the world banded together to move IOIQ forward. Even under the reality of sudden funding cuts and threats to international collaboration, scientists selflessly worked for the IOIQ goals. At a time when many forces pulled inward, IOIQ created a space to reach outward. It brought together government units, educators, scientific institutions, cultural organizations, and industry partners around a shared objective to deepen our understanding of quantum science and technology, broaden participation in its future, and bring all citizens on board the adventure of innovation and knowledge. Over the course of this year, through conversations and events around the globe, I saw how powerful that invitation became when it was taken up locally. Because IOIQ was never a single event. It was thousands of moments of translation so everyone could understand, from researchers to students, from theory to imagination, from advanced concepts to accessible curiosity, and indeed technology. We saw quantum science appear in museums and public exhibitions, in workshops for teachers and students, in science centers and community spaces, and in creative settings where art, music, and performance open new pathways for engagement with the public. I still think about attending a full-day arts event devoted entirely to quantum science. There was music, there was theater, and a full-length play. One can imagine a full-length play about quantum. It was unexpected, it was memorable, and it was a reminder that if we want science to be trusted and valued, we must be willing to meet people where they are, with openness and creativity. We also saw quantum science appear in everyday public spaces. One example is a quantum computer object installed as a showcase in Chicago O'Hare, a major international airport. Hundreds of thousands of travelers will encounter it, admittedly, some because their flight is delayed. Still, IOIQ provided, in this one very small example, an innovative way to expose the public to quantum science. And for brevity, I can't list all the incredible one-on-one and classroom activities that engaged young people across the globe, but we have a web page. From the beginning, IOIQ sought to advance several interconnected goals. to strengthen collaboration across sectors, science, education, industry, and policy, recognizing that discovery and impact are deeply intertwined, to reinforce international scientific cooperation at a moment when global challenges demand shared solutions, and to engage the public not simply by increasing awareness, but by building appreciation and trust in science, helping people see that quantum science is not about a distant future, but about practical advances already shaping our world, from sensing to timing to secure communications, materials, and measurement. If you take a step back, IYQ accomplished something even larger. It demonstrated what science can look like when it is treated as a shared global endeavor. International, not insular, rigorous, but still accessible, ambitious, but grounded in education focused on scientific truth, transcending cultural differences. Driven by discovery and guided by individual responsibility. If this year has shown us anything, it is that talent is everywhere. The question before us, whether we continue to build pathways for that talent to thrive across borders, across governments, and across disciplines. And that brings me back to Ghana. It is fitting that we close the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology here, in the country whose leadership helped make it possible, and in a place that represents so much of what the future of global science must become. Not concentrated in a few regions, not limited to a few institutions, not defined by a few voices, but shared, distributed, invested in, built across continents, cultures, and generations. The future of science will be defined by where it is welcomed, taught, and sustained. The next generation of quantum scientists, engineers, educators, and innovators will come from everywhere. And our responsibility is not to predict where talent will emerge, but to make sure there are pathways for individual success and collective collaboration. This ceremony is not the end of our work to explain, educate, support, and celebrate quantum science, especially for the public. The momentum created this year continues, and the work going on in labs, classrooms, and companies is more exciting than it was even a year ago. To me, as I've seen this develop over time, I always expect things to level off, things to become a little boring, but they never do. Science just moves forward at an accelerating pace. It's truly amazing. It is amazing to see the next generation bring forward new ideas and technologies that I had not imagined or heard of even 5 years ago. But this gathering is a marker. It is an event. It is a celebration. A moment to pause, a moment to reflect, and a moment to recommit. A reminder that when inspired people work together, when leaders explain our shared vision, when institutions cooperate across boundaries, and when science is treated as a shared public good, we can create progress that endures far beyond a single year, far beyond this year, far beyond IYQ 2025. The quantum future certainly did not begin with IYQ. It was at least 100 years in the making. It developed through many channels that represent the richness of human experience and discovery. The International Year of Quantum Science and Technology simply helped the world see it more clearly. Thank you.
We're also very grateful to Mr. John Doyle, who is the past president of the APS. Shall we do a big round of applause for him? We're also especially grateful for key elements of his presentation, some of which also hammered very greatly on the need for sustained research and education. We're very grateful to you, sir. And now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the next minute or two, I'd like all of us to focus our eyes on the screens as we enjoy and view a winning performance of poetry. And we all do remember that in the year of 2025, there was a contest for poetry, and the winning piece is here on our screens. Please enjoy.
Level, we are all one. So it has a sort of spiritual. Hello, my name is Dr. Gary Day, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have won the Brilliant Writing Poetry competition. I would like to thank the judges and the organisers. Why did I choose the topic of entanglement? Because it shows that at some very deep level, we are all one. So it has a sort of spiritual as well as a scientific resonance. Here is my poem on that topic. They had the same print in their living rooms. Lowry, Coming Home from the Mill, 1928. And whenever they glanced at this lost world, they felt the familiarity of that other place, which was also home, suffusing them with a sense of being in two places at once, unsure where each began and the other ended. She said they were the couple on the bottom right, moving away from the patchy crowd with its comedy hats and boots, solo dances, simple mimes, and pavement melodramas. All gone, like the factories, the coloured wagon, and the open doors of terraced houses. Once more, his eye is drawn to the couple heading out of the frame, arms linked, in step, and he wonders if she still feels this ghostly closeness, the nearest they come to touching now. Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share the poem with you. I hope you enjoy it. And just a quick note, if you didn't know, and why should you, L.S. Lowry was a famous British painter, and he painted industrial scenes, very simple industrial scenes, but very evocative. Thank you, and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Luisa A. Igloria, and I'm thrilled to read my poem for the 2025 Brilliant Poetry Prize. An End to Time. I like putting one foot in front of the other, walking at a steady pace until I change the speed on the treadmill or come to the end of the half hour. I like wiping down the silver and putting them back in their drawers, but not ironing out the creases in a shirt. The child asks, "Is there an end of time?" It's the kind of question that can't be answered. If we knew, the world would be a different place entirely. If we knew, all measures would be undone. Animals would never come out of the sealed caves of their hibernation. The last, however many years of heartache would dissolve like a golden cube of honey in a glass of tea. The old queen would leave the hive whenever she wanted to, without being followed by a swarm, without having to scout for a new home to populate with food and bodies, without the new queens killing each other in order to be the only one.
I'm Moiza Fatma. My poem, Schrodinger's Attic, came from wondering if grief existed in a quantum state, both here and gone at once. I wanted to capture the fleeting moments of memory that feel alive until we confront their presence. The album keeps gathering dust, left unopened in Schrodinger's attic. I feel your presence until I turn the page. Thank you.
Is only looking for some fun. Find it in their things, or they find it in someone.
One, two, 1, 2. Honorable Minister, Excellencies here gathered, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My sign language interpreter is Irene Dati. Shall we do a big round of applause for her? So throughout these 2 days, Irene Dati and Stanley Semenshia will be aiding us with sign language interpretation. It's time for us to listen to the keynote address, which will be on the topic, A Century of Quantum Science, celebrating 100 years of discovery, impact, and the next frontier for humanity. It's my pleasure to bring here to the stage a stalwart within the industry and one who has garnered great experience when it comes to the evolution and the continuous movement of quantum science. Please help me with a big round of applause to welcome here from the Institute of Physics, United Kingdom, Michelle Doherty.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be here, not only to celebrate the International Year of Quantum, but to be in the heat and the sunshine of Africa. For someone who's just come from the winter of Europe, this is a lovely place to be, so thank you very much. So thank you for inviting me to speak today as we close what has been really an extraordinary International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. This year marks a centenary, but today we're not simply looking back, we're looking ahead, because the next 100 years of quantum science really have the potential to be even more transformative than the last. The idea for this International Year began with a small group of scientists, educators, and historians who recognized that this centenary would be a unique moment, an opportunity not only to reflect, but to look forward to the profound impact that quantum will have over the next century. That idea gathered momentum. National scientific societies and international science organizations came together to support the proposal, recognizing the critical role quantum science and technology plays in addressing global challenges, from sustainable energy and secure communications to education and human health. With this strong backing from the international scientific community, national governments added their support, and in May 2023, led by Mexico, UNESCO's executive board endorsed a resolution encouraging an official United Nations proclamation. This was then followed by endorsement at UNESCO's General Conference in November 2023, co-sponsored by nearly 60 countries. In May 2024, Ghana formally submitted the resolution to the United Nations General Assembly, and on the 7th of June of that year, the General Assembly officially declared 2025 the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. The thing that astounds me is that this resolution was co-sponsored by 70 countries from more than 70 countries, and it represented over 5 billion people around the world. UNESCO's headquarters in Paris hosted the opening ceremony around about a year ago in February, of 2025. And at that ceremony, there were more than 1,200 people. Really an early signal of both the scale and the ambition of the year in front of them. So the International Year of Quantum has been a truly global event. Its aim has not only been to raise public awareness of quantum science and its applications, but also really, and this is very important for me, is to strengthen international collaboration with explicit attention to closing the so-called quantum divide. And it's particularly important to acknowledge the vital role of our hosts here in Ghana. Ghana was not only one of the key champions of the UN proclamation, but it really also embodies one of the central ambitions of the International Year. And that is that the Global South is not merely a consumer of quantum technologies, but an active participant, innovator, and developer. So the IWQ proclamation called on us to ensure that quantum progress bridges divides rather than creating new ones, and also to support a global quantum agenda grounded in inclusion, education, and workforce development, as well as international cooperation. It also highlighted practical actions as well, mapping global capacity, expanding access pathways, and empowering historically underrepresented groups. And that last point for me is something that personally resonates with me a great deal. My journey started as a young girl in South Africa, looking at the stars and the planet through a telescope that my dad built. I've had some amazing experiences since then. I've led magnetometer instruments on spacecraft missions to the outer planets, and I've recently become the first female astronomer royal in 350 years. And that for me, thank you, that for me really shows what is possible for people to achieve if they are empowered. It's an example of the fact that more diversity in background and in thinking really makes for better science and for better outcomes. I'm so excited to find out how a new generation of diverse perspectives are going to realize their potential, both in Africa and across the world. But of course, much has changed since Heisenberg first laid the foundations of quantum mechanics a century ago. In the field of health, quantum photonics is advancing medical imaging and diagnosis. Quantum chemistry is supporting the development of new vaccines and drugs. In industry and in infrastructure, quantum science is essential for developing new materials that drive technological innovation. In the environment, quantum physics will inform next-generation sensors for environmental monitoring. Quantum computers will improve the accuracy of long-term climate models, and quantum engineering is already leading to more energy-efficient and affordable solar cells. It's very clear that quantum science and technologies are integral to many industries, and this will only become more so in the future. It's really essential that we ensure open science and gender equality in education and research to ensure that quantum solutions are accessible to all. Quantum mechanics has not only transformed our understanding of the natural world, but it's already reshaped our daily lives. Technologies such as lasers, semiconductors, and modern electronics, all rooted in quantum principles, now underpin our global economy. In the United Kingdom, there's been a widespread recognition and government support for the strategic importance of quantum science and technology. And as a result of that focus, the UK has become a major quantum hub. We're now home to more quantum companies and attract more private investment into quantum technologies than any country other than the United States. Our National Quantum Technologies Program is the cornerstone of that effort, and it supports a whole range of different things: fundamental research, innovation, skills training, and international collaboration, all of which are essential ingredients for building a resilient, quantum-enabled economy. It's backed by over £1 billion of funding over the next 4 years. And I think for me, the most exciting thing about it is it really represents a dynamic partnership between government, academia, industry, allowing us to translate quantum science into transformative products and services. But we see a shared story of ambitious national investments and growing international engagement. That global commitment has been vividly reflected in the activities of the past year. The International Year of Quantum platform lists more than 1,000 events across every region of the world, covering an unbelievable array of subjects. John touched on some of those earlier. I'll give you a few examples. I promise I'm not going to share all 1,000 of them, but just a few. The Harvard University's Quantum Shorts Contest encouraged young students to explain a quantum science topic of their choosing through creative videos, to portray the beauty of quantum processes and the impact they can have on our lives. The Quantum Innovation in Japan brought together multidisciplinary researchers who presented and exchanged groundbreaking ideas in quantum science and technology. And a similar thing happened at the Quantum Information Science and Technology Conference in the Philippines. There was an international conference on the history of quantum physics in Brazil, and Quantum Africa 7 brought together researchers, students, and the public from around the world met in Morocco as well. In the UK and Ireland alone, our quantum community organized an extraordinary program of lectures with a National Quantum Week. Thinking back even 20 to 30 years, would we ever have thought of holding a pub far we've come in engaging how important quantum is with the general public as well as with government? As a result of the coordinated efforts of the UK and the Ireland quantum community, we saw quantum represented in a week-long exhibition in the UK Houses of Parliament. We also saw the formation of a new all-party parliamentary group, which was in fact created by members of Parliament to really coordinate and progress quantum issues. We've seen articles about quantum, its impact in national newspapers, and we've seen thousands of people engage with what quantum can do. Another hugely successful initiative is Quantum 100, which some of us saw as we were waiting for the events to start earlier. And this is recognizing 100 individuals who are advancing quantum research, innovation, education, and really building the said. It's very clear that the International Year of Quantum has been an extraordinary global achievement. An enormous number of people have contributed to its success. And while I can't name everyone here today, I'm just going to take a moment to acknowledge some of those who played a particularly vital role. Sir Peter Knight and Rosario Fazio, who were co-chairs of the steering committee of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, and in fact the whole international steering committee who marshaled national and international activities and who volunteered so much of their time and energy to make the endeavor the success that it has been. But of course, all of the national physics societies who are engaged in enabling us to achieve this. The United Nations and the record-breaking numbers of member states that backed the resolution back in 2024, and the Ghanaian government for taking the resolution to the UN General Assembly, and especially Haruna Idrisu, Minister for Education of Ghana, who we heard from earlier, for hosting us in this wonderful closing ceremony. Thank you. But then I think last but not least, we should really give a huge thanks to all of the quantum community. It's you who are doing the science and innovation that is pushing the boundaries of what we understand and what is possible. It's you who are using quantum tech to tackle real-world challenges. And it's you who will be leading us on from this international year to its legacy. So really moving on from the inspiration we felt in this past year to really getting on with using quantum matter. They represent a transformative leap in how we can process information, secure communications, and understand the physical world. But then, of course, there's also the economic benefit. A recent analysis by McKinsey estimates that quantum computing, communications, and sensing together could generate nearly $100 billion in global revenue by 2035, so 10 years from now. In 2024 alone, public and private investment in quantum startups approached $2 billion worldwide. Notably, governments have stepped up with their funding, really reflecting the growing recognition of quantum technologies as strategic national assets. Quantum computers promise breakthroughs in drug discovery and material science. Quantum communications technologies such as quantum key distribution offer theoretically secure encryption, and quantum sensors are already enabling unprecedented precision in navigation, in medical imaging, and environmental monitoring. These advances that are being made are going to reshape entire sectors, from healthcare and energy to finance and manufacturing, and they're going to underpin future technological leadership and national security. But I think for me, what is most important in many ways is that over the past year, the International Year of Quantum has highlighted something just as important as the technology itself, and that is the essential role of international collaboration in science. In a world where our challenges know no borders, cooperation is not optional, it's fundamental. Science thrives on the free exchange of ideas. When nations collaborate, innovation accelerates, trust deepens, and diplomacy is strengthened. Some examples: the IPCC, CERN, the Human Genome Project, and the International Space Station. All of these are powerful reminders that our greatest scientific achievements are collective ones. So, as we stand at the close of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, we're not marking an ending at all. We're really standing at a threshold. 100 years ago, a small group of scientists began to uncover ideas that would profoundly change our understanding of reality itself. They couldn't have imagined the smartphones, the satellites, lasers, or the digital world that we now take for granted. Yet it was their curiosity, their courage, and their willingness to collaborate across borders that set all of this in motion. So today we stand as stewards of the next chapter. The question before us is not only what quantum science will enable, but what kind of world we choose to build with it. Will we now allow new technologies to deepen existing divides? Or will we choose cooperation over competition, inclusion over exclusion, and shared progress over solitary gain? I think for all of us, the past year of the message from the past year has been very clear. The future of quantum must be a shared one. That means investing in research, laboratories and hardware, But it also means investing in people, young scientists, students and innovators in every region of the world. It means ensuring that talent, wherever it exists, has the opportunity to contribute. And it means working together across nations, disciplines, and cultures. Because the challenges that we all face, climate change, health, energy, and security, do not recognize borders. If we get this right, quantum science will do more than transform technology. It will help strengthen trust between nations, and it will accelerate solutions to our most urgent global challenges. And it will remind us that humanity's greatest advances have always come when knowledge is shared. So let us carry this spirit forward: collaboration over isolation, openness over division, and a commitment that the next 100 years of quantum science will be defined not just by extraordinary discoveries, but by the progress that we will make together. Because when science is shared, humanity advances. Thank you very much.
We're very grateful to the president of the Institute of Physics, United Kingdom, Michelle Doherty, who has reminded all of us that when science progresses, it has a way bigger effect on humanity than we all do think. We're very grateful to you, madam. And our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wrapping up this part of this conference will be a brief presentation and a message of goodwill from Dr. Heike Riley. And she's representing DPG. Shall we welcome her with a big round of applause?
Figured out this time, and all of the plans you made will work out. Deep.
Your Excellencies, honored guests, and distinguished colleagues, thank you for this great opportunity to warmly welcome you, also in the name of the German Physical Society, to this IYQ 2025 closing ceremony here in Ghana. We are very grateful to the Ministry of Education, to the important role Ghana played in the International Year of Quantum 2025. And thank you for hosting this event and us here all in Accra. The International Year of Quantum 2025 was initiated as a global grassroots effort by the scientific community, carried forward by the international professional societies, and ultimately brought to the United Nations by UNESCO and formally submitted by Ghana for adoption. Thank you. The last year has been an outstanding and very fruitful endeavor. The German Physical Society, abbreviated DPG, had the great pleasure to be one of the significant supporters. DPG was founded in 1845. It is the oldest national and largest physical society in the world. It is a non-profit professional association that exclusively and directly pursues non-profit purposes. The activities of the DPG are carried out by its members and are on a solidly voluntary basis. The aims of the DPG are to serving physics and its community in all its aspects. We promote the exchange of experience in teaching, research, and application. In particular, also young scientists are the focus of our support. The DPG stands for freedom, tolerance, truthfulness, and dignity in science, and the awareness that these working in science hold particular responsibilities to these principles. It was a great pleasure to participate, therefore, also in this year, last year, and make a great effort and contribute to the wonderful events that happened. The largest event in our portfolio to achieve the objectives are the annual spring meetings of the German Physical Society. More than 10,000 physicists annually from Germany and abroad attend. This international conference is driven by a rich scientific and educational program. Open exchange, networking, and long-lasting relationships attract many scientists from academia and industry all over the world. DBG Spring Meetings rank among the largest physical congresses in Europe, and this year they will be in Mainz, Dresden, and Erlangen, and I hope many of you can also join. The DBG honors excellence in physics by presenting awards, the most prestigious and the Stern-Gerlach Medal for outstanding performances in the area of experimental physics. Over the last couple of years, it was a great pleasure to contribute to the preparation and last year's executions of the IYQ 2025. The International Year of Quantum Technologies was a significant effort and at the core of our objectives. DBG has been a founding partner as was involved from the initial planning stages right through the end of the year. The DBG took the lead in Germany within the IYQ framework. A volunteer task force was formed by dedicated members of the DBG, and they put a lot of effort, energy, and passion for about 4 years to create a plethora of events with broad reach also into the society. The DBG collaborated internationally and also nationally with various organizations to organize and promote events and projects from DBG and partners. The program of the DBG contained a variety of different thematic topics, from quanta in science and quantum technologies, reaching the public and society, playful quantum science in schools to promote early education and getting in touch with quantum, quanta in music, philosophy, art, and literature, under the motto of Quantum Meets Art. Quanta in the professional world is as important, connecting to people who are already in their professional careers, in industry, and also in the society. And also the topic of the past to the modern quantum world and beyond. So overall, more than 420 events were organized under the leadership of the DBG. A tremendous of work was done by passionate volunteers. Some of them are also here. And a big thank you, therefore, to all of them and to all of you that have enabled this year. You can be certain it made an impact all over the world. It's just the beginning. Thank you.
We're very grateful to Dr. Heike Rell, who is the President-elect of the German Physical Society. This is the world's biggest organization of physicists, and they have a membership in excess of 50,000. And she has the privilege of leading the German Physical Society. We're very grateful to you for your massive contributions to the progress of this area of discipline around the world. And now, Honorable Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're very grateful to all of you for being a part of the first part of today's ceremony. Would be retiring for a photograph session with the Honorable Minister before he takes leave of us for other pressing national assignments, after which we'll return here to the hall for the start of the moderated sessions. Would like to say a very big thank you to all of you, for all of our friends who are joining us from different parts of the world, and also from the African perspective, would like to salute the likes of Dr. Nina Kukweno, who is a pioneer of the internet on the African continent. Shall we do a big round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen? Kukweno is ensuring continuity and the transfer of intellect and knowledge to the new generations that are coming after us. With this kind of participation, we're very sure that the world will surely move at a faster pace than it is, because in areas of manufacturing industry, for instance, the impact of quantum science is deeply felt, and this has been evidenced in the kinds of presentations that we've had so far. There'll be more as we go into the moderator sessions, but would like to say a very big thank you to all of you for being a part of this. And of course, I'd like to urge all of you to ensure that we're part of that big photograph on the big backdrop outside of the hall. Immediately after that, we'll all proceed to the lawn over here across for light snacks, after which we'll return to the hall in 30 minutes. Honorable Minister, we're grateful to you for your presence here this morning. And now shall we all rise?
GTV, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
Get into the next item, and we are looking at the Black Stars technical team that has been boosted by 5 appointments. So as we speak, we know that these are the people that have come in to help Otuado. And so the technical department of the Ghana national team has been boosted with 5 new appointments ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Ghana Football Association announced the latest appointment on Friday, February 5th, following consultation with key stakeholders. The FA's statement asserts that the strategic additions are aimed at strengthening the team's coaching staff ahead of the Global Football Festival in Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America in June. Head coach Otuado will now work with French tactician Alain Ravera, who brings rich experience from his previous